Did you guys hear about the guy who lost his job at the blanket factory? Well, apparently it folded.
Dun-dun-dun. And thanks for listening to Untitled Car Project, show 59. Woo! These jokes brought to you by Grant.
Yay.
Yay.
Want to be dad.
Want to be dad.
He's practicing his dad jokes. This week on the show, What the Clutch? Grant?
That's a good title.
What the Clutch? We're going to talk about a listener project car. We've got something to talk about there. Mm-hmm. Somebody with a 2010 Camaro?
I think so.
Say it was 10? Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
We're going to go over the next build challenge, and we're going to talk about project cars for sale. So a little bit of a light show, but you know what? I'll bet there's enough shit that we can talk about.
You
had another question, too.
I did 3 builds.
Yes, you did.
So, I mean, they're easy, quick, light builds.
Oh, that's perfect. It's perfecto. On another note, we've got some merch for sale. Sweatshirts, t-shirts, $35 for sweatshirts, $25 for t-shirts.
Heck yeah, they're comfy.
Hit me up on email, untitledcarproject@gmail.com, or Facebook Messenger me, and we'll do the Venmo thing.
Or the Instagram.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't hardly ever get any messages on that, but I mean, I guess you could.
Yeah.
So yeah, reach out, and if I'm feeling spicy, I'll give you Grant's phone number.
Woo!
And you can
spam
text him.
Call him at 2 in the morning.
Call him at 2 in the morning.
It'll be 2 in the morning and answer it and be like, I've got a joke for you.
I got a joke. It's a dad
Hopefully it's
joke.
better than the one you told on the show.
Yeah. So, anyway, I'll also post the merch stuff on the socials again, just so you can see it.
That'd be good.
Yeah. And I don't know, where do you want to start? You want to start with What the Clutch, or shall we start with the listener project?
Grant asked a question in the last show.
Okay.
I want to touch on.
Okay.
The Datsun 240
Yeah.
Z.
Turbo.
No.
That was a 280 that came with Z then, right?
The only ones that came with the turbo were the ZX from 79 to 81. And then the company, I think, went under, right?
Let me look at, because there's a very famous one called the Devil Z.
Datsun, yeah. Well, then it went, excuse me, Nissan bought them.
Let's see.
It changed to Nissan at that point.
The Devil Z was
The
based
80s, the mid-80s Z was kind of ugly, but it did have a turbo, I think.
Yeah.
So it's
300,
hang on.
right?
So the S30, hang on, which one's that? Yeah, S30 was built from 69 to 72, or let's see, 69 to 78, because that's what the Devil Z was based off of.
I'm looking at right here. Datsun 240 from 70 to 73 came with a 2.4 liter inline naturally aspirated V6.
Are you looking up AI, or are you actually looking it up?
No, I'm looking it up.
Okay. The Devil Z is 1972. That had the straight 6.
Is it a 240?
It's a 240, and that had the...
That is not stock then.
No, that was a stock. It was a very rare and specific model. Let's see. It had the L28 engine. Look at that one up.
L28 didn't come out till 79.
Engine. Let's see here.
The
Turbo.
ZX is the only one that came with the turboed motor, and they didn't come out till later. They probably didn't have turbos for gas motors.
Not something reliable enough to put on a production car.
And diesel motors, maybe in trucks and boats, may have had them.
Back then?
Maybe.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't
turbos
think...
all the way in the early 70s. I mean, hell, even the...
Yeah, but not small ones.
I mean, not small ones.
They didn't make small ones back then.
This
All
was
of them
not
were
a small...
big.
This wasn't a small one. This is a car made like 600 horses from factory.
No.
Maybe no.
I would have to argue that as well.
They did not make a 600 horsepower inline 6 with a
No,
turbo.
that would be a unicorn, and everybody would be all about it. That's not a thing.
40 turbo make. Hang on.
You're probably looking up somebody's build.
Yeah.
Fair Lady. This is the Fair Lady Z turbo.
It was not
Okay.
600 horsepower.
Okay. Here we go. Okay. This is what AI says on this one for Google. And I can go find those examples. The stock Datsun 240Z, known as the Fair Lady Z in Japan, originally produced 151 horsepower. This model was equipped with a 2.4 liter inline 6. However, turbocharging the 240Z significantly increased horsepower, with some examples reaching 328 and even 560.
Not stock.
No, not stock.
Stock.
Not
It's
stock.
not stock,
Look,
dude.
I'm going down.
Stop. You lost. Okay, you lost the battle. Good Lord.
Oh,
I was
Rams?
having a hard time with that one. I'm like,
No.
they didn't make cars with turbos back in the 70s.
No.
There was a lot of naturally aspirated.
I think, I mean, I would, the first ones I remember production wise came out in the 80s, and it was like a Grand Am.
Grand National or something.
Yeah, Grand National maybe. And there was the Dodge Daytona, no, IROC Daytona, right?
Was it? That was a.
It was the only Dodge. It was turbocharged, like a 4-cylinder or something like that. I had to have to look it up.
Mustang had the 4-cylinder Fox body that they
Turbocharged?
turboed. Yeah, it was the Fox body
In the 80s?
RS.
In the 80s?
Mustang RS, yeah.
Cool.
Funny enough, it made the same amount of horsepower, if not more. I think it was the same amount of horsepower as the 5.0
Yeah.
the same year.
Yeah.
But because it's smaller and lighter, it was a faster car.
okay. I have an answer where my whole thing came from. So, because the Devil Z.
Somebody
so,
built it.
Hang on, hear me out. So the Devil Z.
Somebody built it.
Devil Z is a car from an anime, but it's based off. Hang on.
me.
Hear me out. It's based off the real story of the car from the Wagon Midnight Club, which was a real car called the Devil Z. That car was
Did somebody build it?
Someone built it. They board
No, it's a
instructed.
fucking cartoon.
Yeah, no.
No, it's a real car.
If it's
Like,
a real car
existed.
and somebody built it, I'm
Yeah.
excited about it.
So,
But it's
they
not
bored
stock.
it to a 3.1 liter board and stroked, and it made 600 horses to 666 horses.
So it's
Back
built.
in-
Still not stock.
Not stock. No.
Let's start with the listener project.
Oh, the Lister Project. You want to
Yeah.
start with that one?
Yeah, I
All right.
do.
So I recently, on a whole different side tangent,
Okay.
I just got back from a 2,400 person Pokemon card
Dude,
tournament.
that is, no, I'm out.
Oh.
I'm clipping it.
Okay.
I'm clipping you.
So-
Wait, I'm clipping you. Done. All right. Let's talk about car projects.
Why would you bring that up?
Because that's where this began. So I
Oh.
was trying to bring it.
All right. All right.
Okay.
I will allow it.
Tell us about your friend.
So I'm at this tournament, and I met up with a friend I haven't seen in over a decade.
Okay.
It brings up this all comes together because this friend, growing up, had a 2000 or has still a 2012 Transformers Edition Camaro, all badging, all yellow, all Bumblebee, a very special Camaro.
Question.
Yes,
How many of those were made?
we were looking into that. He thought it was like 40,000. I
Holy
thought,
no.
I thought
smokes.
I thought it was way less than that. There is no way.
Maybe 4.
Continue with the story. I will look it up.
Thank you.
Yes.
So growing up, going again to Pokemon in different tournaments, the two iconic cars were Liger and the Camaro, just because you would not expect it there. So we'd have a bright red Ford Mustang in the parking lot, and we'd have the bright yellow Bumblebee. And so it'd also be good for all the kids because they'd see these cars and they'd grow up and be like, oh, it's so iconic. So fast forwarding, my friend moves to the East Coast. This is the first time he's back in the Portland area, and I've met up with him, and we got to talking. And I asked him, how is Bumblebee? Because, again, very iconic car growing up for both of us, whatnot. And, yeah,
Go
yes,
ahead.
Rob?
1,411.
Right.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So his biggest argument, we'll get to that.
Also,
Yes.
for 2012, only 49 V6 manual coupes were produced.
Okay. His was a-
464 with the V8 coupe.
His was a V8 SS. 6.2 liter.
527 automatics and 371 manuals. Okay.
Yeah. And his was I'm not sure if it was a manual or automatic.
Okay.
Okay. Hang on.
Cool car anyway. 1,400 of them. That's
It's not bad.
that's
It's not too
that's
many.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So-
some of them are gone.
For
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, this ain't a normal Camaro. This is, when you start it up, it's just the Transformer logo. All the Chevy badges are gone. It's the not Decepticons, the Autobot symbols all over it. Very special car. Okay. So that being said, this has been his car, one of his daily driver cars. He's had it forever, and he was telling another friend, I bumped into him in the middle of a conversation, that he was debating on getting rid of this. This a car that's been with him, he loves to death, but he's like, the problem is it has so much work that I don't know if it's worth putting the money into it.
Okay. Questions.
Mm-hmm.
He's had it since new.
Yes, first
Okay.
only.
How many miles are on it?
I could not tell you.
And you think it's a V8 car?
I know it's a V8 car.
Okay. All right. Continue.
Okay. So he was telling us that the problem with it is he didn't see the value in the car. He said, again, he was under assumption that there's like 45,000 made of that car.
Right.
And again, me and another friend hearing this were like, no, this is a very rare car. No, there's way more. Didn't fact check him at the time.
I've never actually seen one on the road.
They're very cool.
Right.
And also,
Yeah.
the other thing about this car is it was the only, I believe, Camaro with the addition with the bigger wing. It has a giant wing that's bigger than factory stock. It's like probably a foot off of it.
But it came with the car.
It came with that edition of the Camaro.
That edition, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So very unique looking Camaro too, other than the paint and stuff as well. Talking to him, he under the assumption it was mass produced. He's saying like, for example, one of the window regulators is going out, and it's an incredibly ridiculous job to get it. I'm like, it's the door. He's like, no, you got to take part of the dash off to get to this. Again, not very mechanically or like mechanic
Gotcha.
guy.
Yep.
But from what he's saying is like, he's got to find a mechanic, send it to, have it paid out, and put money into it. Again, not mechanically inclined. He's not.
Is this his only mode of transportation?
It's only mode of transportation. He's debating on selling it
Yep.
and buying another daily driver because he's on the assumption of this car he'll be able to buy back in the future at a cheaper price.
way.
Wrong.
On top of that, like
Yeah.
he's thinking maybe
Why-
a RAV4 or
If
something.
you're
would be a
going to
good
sell a car with the intention of buying it back later, do not sell the car.
replacement. I agree.
100%.
So we're trying again. The current state of the car is it's in Louisiana, I believe.
Okay. And he's living in New York?
No, he's in Louisiana too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he went to the East Coast. Now he's in Louisiana. He's debating on bouncing around and whatnot. Regardless on that factor, me and my friend. Let's just say Chris. My friend Chris. We're trying to debate, and my other friend. Should we use real names or not?
Don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay.
If you use his first name, nobody will ever know who it is.
Okay. Anyways, we were trying to convince our Camaro friend that this would be something worth repair. His argument again was, as someone who doesn't wrench, that the cost of hiring a mechanic would be too expensive. He was even arguing, saying that it would be cheaper to ship it to Oregon to have quote unquote Grant work on it because it would be cheaper than it would be finding a mechanic in the area to start working on it.
Ship it over here and we'll buy it from you.
Yeah.
How much does he think it's worth?
Probably what a normal Camaro from 2012 cost. And I am under the assumption, and again, I was telling him that, and then I will tell our listeners this too. I believe the cars, the muscle cars of this era, the Hellcats, any Hellcat, the 2013-14 GT 500s, and all the Transformer edition Camaros, those will be the top selling muscle car, most expensive in say 20 years. Because those are what the kids grew up with. That's the iconic car. And when they have money, that is what's going to cause it to raise value.
Yeah, that's absolutely what happens.
Yeah. And I don't think it's worth getting rid of that. But it brings up a discussion.
Yes.
If it's a car that you love, whether it's this car or any project car that you love, if you can't financially afford to fix it, is it worth holding on to or get something that's more responsible? Or B, if you have something like that, how much do you put into it, even though it keeps causing you havoc?
You are asking a guy that has regrets
Yeah.
about getting rid of
Same.
a truck that I never should have got rid of.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah. Talk to anybody that's, in their late 40s or 50s,
Yeah.
What car did they have as a kid that they had to sell to move on, whatever, money's tight. And now you're kicking your own ass because, oh my God, would I love to have that car right
Yeah,
now.
money wasn't even tight. I just,
Yeah.
it was sitting there. It was
needed
just
work.
I didn't
Bad
have
decision.
time, and
Yep.
boom, gone.
Boom, gone. Exactly. So I just looked up current value of that vehicle. They range from $33,000 to $39,000.
That's nothing to sneeze about.
No,
No.
that's a fine price for.
What's a stock one?
It's
18, maybe.
Maybe.
I'll look that up for a 2012, just a plain Jane. I'll bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right around 8.
Because the main thing is they made 3 or 4 Transformer editions Camaro per movie, and they bid the car off that for edition. And I know this because Barrett Jackson had a auction where they had 4 of them together, and I think it sold all 4 for about 100-something thousand about 4 years ago.
All 4 were
There were
100,000?
different ones
Or they were 100,000 each?
no, all together.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
as a package.
That's-
So
You know,
That's
but
cool.
like,
they got a good deal.
yeah, in my opinion, that the first one is going to be the most iconic one.
Probably.
It's from the first movie. It's
Yeah.
when they switch it from the Volkswagen to the Camaro, and that's when they unveiled the next generation of retro styling for Chevy.
Yep.
It's a very iconic, important car.
I agree. I think like the one you said sold 4 years ago for basically 25,000 each. That's probably bottom.
Yeah,
That's
Oh, yeah,
bottomed
so
out.
too.
They're going to go up from there.
Yeah, I bet that collection's 200,000. Easy.
Maybe not. Maybe not quite there, but 30,000 a piece, maybe 35,000 each. Depends on their mileage.
Depends on
and
how
condition and
mileage and
all that
condition,
stuff.
yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah.
But it could be 180,000, 200,000 by now for all 4 of those. But yeah, now the current value is 33 to 39. Obviously, there's what condition, how many miles, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
blah,
all of
that
it
shit.
adds up. But
All of
let's
it.
just say in this condition,
But it's climbing, is my point.
it's climbing. But
Yes.
this car is also a daily.
Yep.
It is a car that's
But it could be put back to a good show condition.
yeah.
He'd be a fool to sell it. Especially, it sounds like it's probably paid for if he's owned it forever.
Yep.
Right? Go buy a commuter car and
Yeah.
park that thing.
So it's also due to space too.
Yeah.
I mean, because then he's having to travel for work.
Yeah.
He can't be in.
You can rent
No, that comes down to finances.
Yeah.
that's true.
Can you really afford storage space?
But let's just scan it broader.
'Kay.
Because it's also a question for our audience and
Yes.
stuff like that. Like, again, when is it ever the time? Is there a time to get rid of something like that?
Ask any old car guy who will say, do not sell it because they've all been through this. God, I wish I didn't sell that car.
So then what's the solution then? That
That's
everyone,
exactly what I said. Go buy your fucking commuter car and hang on to the thing.
and start working on it.
Figure it out.
So let's use another example. Let's say it's someone 18. They have their dream car. They've had it for a couple of years,
Yep.
but they can't afford 2 cars. They've got, say, that
Sell it to your
66
dad.
that dad gave them that they can't afford because, they're working at, say, Home Depot, making minimum wage, but they're trying to get and live in, but this car is costing too much money.
Well, then you're host. Unless you can figure out somebody that you know that can help you out. Like, here, buy this car from me, but don't sell it. Hold on to it.
Yeah, like you're.
I know
Yeah.
that this is an investment in the future, right? I don't want to get rid of this car, but I'm strapped for money.
What if it's not?
Well, then there's no conversation.
No.
So it-
hang on. If
if
it's
Riley-
something that's special to you, but it's not worth anything. Say, for example, and this is an extreme example, a PT Cruiser. I actually have a
You're
friend
stupid.
who
Well, you know.
loves his PT Cruiser, but wouldn't give it up for the world. And we've bashed on that.
Because you can buy another one for $500, so throw the fucking thing away.
Okay.
That is not even the conversation. Not even the same
So
conversation.
Okay.
if Riley came to me and he had this car, not the PT Cruiser,
Okay.
the
Camaro.
the Camaro.
Okay.
If he had something there was only 1,400 of,
Right.
and said, I have to have a commuter car, I have to have a truck, whatever, but I don't want to get rid of this. I can't afford it though. I would probably buy it and start rebuilding it. And then
If you can see the value,
Yeah.
or if he can make a good case for why he doesn't want to
But-
get rid, because yes, he explains to you there's only 1,400 of these cars.
Yeah.
They're increasing in value. I'm struggling. I can't afford it, but we should not get rid of this car.
I would
Yeah.
start building it with the intention of giving it back to him at some point.
Well, because you're a nice guy.
I know.
And I would hope anybody else would do that too, or at least just sit on it.
Yeah.
Park it out in the garage. I got space for it. We're fine, right?
My grandpa
Go take
used
care
to
of
do
your
that for my dad. Not cars, but he would sell
And maybe
them
maybe your buddy doesn't have that, parent or relative that could help him out like that, but maybe he's got some friends that could.
It's true on that one.
You could. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could. You've got room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And figure out a way for that.
Yeah.
That is definitely a car at some point in my lifetime I'd love to have.
And if he
because
didn't
I've-
have
because of
the
how-
intention of buying it back,
Yeah.
you got a
But
pretty fucking
How much
cool
of
car.
for me personally, how much that car put an impact on my childhood?
sure.
It would be nice
And
to
there's
have that.
a lot of people in your same generation
Yeah.
that would feel the same way.
Exactly.
That's why that car is going to increase in value.
Exactly.
Yep.
Be kind of cool sitting next to Liger too.
Yeah. It's
Ooh, Camaro versus Ford.
no, trust me. When we pulled up, and it was always back in the day, like he was always faster because again, horsepower. Versing in the racing now, different situation, but car to car,
Yeah.
very impressive car. But also just because they're so striking, very similar looking car, but different.
I like
And
those Camaros.
I do too.
Yep.
You know, I think the Bumblebee edition is the best looking Camaro ever made, and
I'm not
Jimmy
super-
might yell at us for that one. But
Yeah,
hey,
I'm not super sold. That car doesn't do anything to me. The Bumblebee whole thing
yeah,
doesn't do anything for me. I
I'm
saw
a
the movies
different
and whatever.
generation.
I understand that. I totally understand
Yeah.
that. But I mean, the body style. I do like the body styles.
actually, I'll say second best. I think a first gen Camaro was better, but regardless, that Bumblebee is up there with
It's
some
iconic.
of the great designs.
Okay, so I just looked up your standard Chevrolet Camaro SS,
Okay,
2012, same years, right?
Okay.
It's his Bumblebee. So recall the Bumblebee was 33 to 39,000.
Mm-hmm.
Your standard SS Chevy Camaro is $9,900 to $12,000.
wow,
So don't sell it
yeah.
right there.
Well, also,
It's triple the value.
that's
It is.
that's a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
For the horsepower, when you're getting for
Mm-hmm.
10 grand for 400, what is it, 500 horses, 450?
Probably not.
I think it's
probably says.
455.
Yeah, it was right in there.
Yeah,
I think
four-
it said 457 or something like that.
Yeah. With independent suspension, big brakes in the front. You know, that's a great. Anyways,
That'd be a good little platform for somebody looking to get into
Autocross.
autocross. Yeah.
They're a heavy car, but they perform very well.
oh yeah,
They really do.
they're not super heavy. I think they're like 37, 38.
Yeah, I think
That's
they're
pretty
really
friggin'
close.
heavy.
They're close to the Mustang.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple $100 less, but I don't.
Not much.
Not much.
Yeah.
No. But the performance is where it's at. Like
Yeah.
they had better suspension and better brakes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But right, I mean, $9,900 to 12,000.
Yeah.
That's the going price.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that other one's upwards of 40,000.
yeah.
Don't fucking sell it.
Yeah. I
Imagine
would-
when
I
they get
would-
to an anniversary of that movie,
Yeah.
like say the 20th or 30th anniversary.
You could possibly double what it's at now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would not.
So he
surprise
needs
me.
to park that thing, clean it up, start chipping away at the little repairs, make it nice, and just weekend drive it sometimes.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
That's a collector.
yeah.
Yeah. As hard as that might be to say, for some people are going to be looking, are you kidding? A Bumblebee Transformer car? That's why it's a collector. Yeah. It's
Because
going-
somebody like me is going to go, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I want that.
And as your generation gets a little bit older and you start coming into money, because that's what happens, you know, you've been at your job now for 10 or 15 years, you know, they're like, I can buy one of those now.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that drives the price up because, you know, the demand gets higher.
And not only that is with the Camaro ones, I brought up the wing. I'm just thinking about this now. That was an option, I believe, for the option of the Transformers.
Okay.
So like makes it even more rare. Like so finding they had the V6.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They had the V8.
The V8, yeah.
They had the automatic and manual. Then you had the big wing option. So to find one that has all of that together,
Right.
you know, just makes it even more special.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I say don't sell it. If you're listening, don't sell it.
Now, on the other hand, if he could get, we'll say 25 out of it in the condition it's in, that's a pretty good down payment on something.
Are you trying to buy it from him right now? Is that what you're doing? Are you making an offer? Taking advantage of the situation.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dang.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you're right. You find if you're still set on selling it, I mean, there's a market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a market. And it would be interesting to know, and I don't really know how to look it up. There's probably forums or groups dedicated to the Transformer cars. How many are left?
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
want to know.
Yeah,
How
'cause
many
you know-
originals are left?
Because you know somebody, people that are young,
Tons of them been
got a
crashed.
hold of those and thrashed them.
Tons
or
of them.
completely wrecked them.
Yeah. tons of them have been for sure.
I would say even if it was 10%, right?
Yeah,
You're looking at probably 140 of those are gone.
I would bet that it's higher than that percentage wise.
Probably
20%, maybe
200,
a couple of hundred of them.
So you're probably down to 1,200 of them left.
Right.
Probably.
And then in the next 10 years,
Another probably
because there's people like that guy that
they'll be
don't
under
know.
1,000.
Well, they don't know they're worth anything. I'm sure there's some on the market out there that are for sale for a pretty low price because they're like, I don't know, it's a yellow and black. It's got these Transformer logos, and they're like, it's just dorky, so they're selling it cheap. Somebody buys it and is like, that's cool, and then they wreck it.
Yeah.
So that's how those
Sell it to that high school kid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nuts. Look at this. There's one right here, 2010. It doesn't even have the big wing option on it. Okay. Sorry, this is a 2010 version one.
Yeah.
With 20,000 miles for 30 grand.
Yeah.
It's got 20,000 miles.
Yeah.
That's pretty low miles.
Yeah.
That's low.
Yeah.
Then I'm trying to look at this one. It's a
So
2012.
looks like that car is only worth about 15.
I see what's
Yeah.
happening here. You're about to have a yellow and black Camaro in the driveway.
Let me see if I can pull up a picture of his for later. Anyways, but yeah, so that's what he's going through right now.
All right. Well, that's my advice. Don't sell it.
Yeah, keep us posted.
You will
like
you will hate yourself
on the minute.
On the yeah.
Yeah, but the good news,
Jeremy's invested.
it'll be in Jeremy's garage soon. So
It will be.
It won't
know.
fit in the garage.
We're gonna have to clean some shit out, but we can make it go.
I might have a garage we can get it in.
We can figure it out. Okay. All right. Well, that was fun.
yeah,
That's the advice.
okay.
What the clutch, Grant?
So for our listeners, this is what probably now 4 episodes ago.
3.
3 episodes ago.
Yeah.
By the time this airs, we'll have this solution resolved.
Yes.
So
We'll have the solution resolved.
yes. So we had three episodes ago.
We'll have the issues resolved. There will be a solution.
Yeah.
So we're gonna fuck it all up.
Yeah.
So 3 episodes ago, we had just taken with Derek on the
Yes.
show. We had taken Liger out to autocross at Shelton for the first time with the new setup on Hoosiers, and to get our listener up to speed, Liger's grenade
Clutch.
clutch. Sorry, what did I say? Grenade.
Grenade.
Sorry,
The clutch.
words got backwards.
Yes.
It was chaotic. Liger's a 2007 Ford Mustang, and it has a very
I
special.
always think it's a 2005 for some reason.
That was when they started, 2005 to 2009.
Okay.
She's a 2007, and she has a TR6060 swap, which is a Shelby GT 500 transmission of a 2007 to 2009 era,
Dun,
What's-
dun, dun.
which is important to the story.
It is.
Okay. That being said, a clutch I had bought in 2001 was a McLeod Street Extreme Edition, rated for 700 pounds of torque, which I figured because I'm making about 300 at the wheels, building up to more power. The ultimate goal is
Eventually, yes.
to have about 450 at the wheels. This clutch would be satisfactory.
Should hold up a little bit better to abuse.
Correct.
That was the thought.
The problem is we're going into a corner, or I don't know, corner, bend, whatever.
Sweeper.
Second to third gear, and the grenade. Sorry, just kidding.
The grenade went off.
The grenade went off. Thank
Yes.
you. You know.
He pulled the pin, and then he let go of the handle.
Yeah. Literally, bell housing had holes into it the size of my
Oh.
fist.
Yeah.
Multiple holes.
You didn't see the
Damn.
pictures?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy hasn't seen
There was parts all over the track.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
buddy.
I got lucky also because I didn't realize because, it went down. I'm
Yeah.
lucky it didn't go sideways into the car.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have got through there, but
Because it made a steel.
yeah. I was at the other end of the track watching Grant go away from me, and I hear stuff.
Like,
the music.
That sounded like
I did not
Steel
hear the
Rain.
music. Yeah, I heard clunk and chunk and some things tinkling onto the ground.
Ting, ting,
and I was like,
ting, ting.
oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
We've got a video coming to our Instagram soon.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah. So, so that's been gone through. So we recently, last week, ripped out the transmission to see how bad the damage is. Because the biggest worry was the TR6060 would have had a hole punched into it or something of the transmission being
Well, it
damaged.
sounds like the bell housing.
The input shaft or something.
Something.
Worried about that.
Correct. Luckily, when it happened, got the car off track, shut off,
Yep.
trying to get going through. So pulling out, luckily, no damage to input shaft, no damage to the transmission. Great.
He pulled out just in time.
Yeah. Woo!
Damn.
Not a. The one shot at being a dad. So, which is good because those transmissions are hard to come by, and even if I did break it, I mean it's about used $3,000 to $4,000 transmission.
Yeah.
Finding one, sourcing one, and then I have no idea what it looks like. This transmission actually, when I got it, I rebuilt it, and that was not by design, but it had to. So I know it's been gone through and bulletproofed. So this week's been trying to diagnose what went wrong, contact McLeod, and be like, hey, what's going on? Because Rob can attest this. When a clutch starts going out, and Jeremy, you can too, they start slipping.
Yep.
That's the big wear item on that one. Liger gave no recollection of that at all. Is that the right word I'm looking for?
Nope.
No indication.
There you go.
Indication.
You know,
Recollection.
recollection.
That's not even a word.
Can anybody, please somebody define recolation?
We'll Urban Dictionary that one later.
I like it. Yeah.
I got to recall the recollection of
Recolation.
That word. So,
Okay. Wow.
yeah. But trying to figure out what went with that. What we found with the clutch coming out, the first noticeable thing is the disc had the middle ripped out of it.
Yep.
That was the first thing. And first thought was, okay, too much grip from the tires busting loose or too much power or something to shred the middle apart.
This was Grant's first thought.
That was my first
So
thought.
you just take
However,
it for granted.
looking-
Take it for granted. That
Yeah.
was Grant's first thought.
Looking through it, because the clutch actually chunked off in the section where it's open like a C, my second thought was part of it failed on some side, one of the pads.
pads, yeah.
As this wasn't a standard clutch, being a ceramic metallic clutch, had multiple puck pads around it.
Right.
Of, I think, 10 on each side.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of those, my thought was one of those puck pads failed. When it did fail, it started ripping it open a little bit. Once it started opening, that weakened the center, which then made it free spin. So
I agree. I think that's what happened.
That's probably pretty likely.
I think so too.
I think it failed at one of the pads, cracked or something, and then it caught on something.
So how do those pads, how are they bonded to the plate?
Riveted?
I think
Are they?
they're glued or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, they're not riveted. There's no rivets in
Your
those
glue
things.
probably failed.
Maybe.
It from the fragments that I picked up, I think it fractured
Because
between the pads. I think
think so,
it
too.
cracked in there somewhere, and then I don't know what it could have hung up on, but I think it caught on something, and that's what caused the destruction. Because
it
you've
right
got the
after?
inertia of the motor and everything right there, and so it caught on something, and that's what tore the center of the clutch, the disc out.
yeah,
By that thing sudden stopping, and then the torque of it just
And you were shifting.
that was shifted.
shifted to third,
Yeah,
which is like
we're going.
shouldn't really matter.
We're high into second at probably like 5,000 RPM, going to third.
When they go, that's what they're going to do.
Well, they shouldn't ever do that.
On top of that, I'm also a guy who doesn't hard launch my car, and I don't drag race. This is a car that I make sure right when
Yeah,
I'm
but
off.
you hard drive that car a lot.
Hard drive it, but I don't hard
Yes.
shift it.
So a clutch is supposed to save between the motor and the transmission. It's
Wait.
supposed to slip, not break.
Let's talk about the hard shifting.
Okay,
What do you mean hard shift?
drop the clutch,
Dropping the clutch.
push in, let off, let it fall.
And you don't ever let that clutch out at a rapid rate when you're...
Let it out a rapid rate, but you stop right before the top.
That shouldn't matter, Jeremy. It's designed to slip.
No, they are. They are.
Yeah, not break.
Not break.
It should never break.
Yeah.
What-
It should slip.
So let's talk about my clutch that blew up.
Oh, all right. Back to the Subi.
Yeah.
Way
So
back in the day.
when that one blew up,
Yeah.
it looked like fucking cotton candy.
Real fast,
This
Jeremy.
did not look like that.
Do we give our listener context of this? Because, we're talking episode 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was years ago at this point. When I was driving down the road, it slipped,
That's what it's supposed to do.
but it blew up when I shifted.
Well, if it looked like cotton candy, So it was just slipping, and all of that material, probably an organic clutch, just started unraveling, basically.
Yep.
So whether you had some sharp edges that started peeling it off or whatever, I could imagine all of that material then gets hung up, and then you're going to disintegrate.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up some.
So on his,
It disintegrated
it
first.
got hot.
No way.
There was no heat.
Well,
There was no bluing. There was no nothing.
There was no bluing.
No, here, Jeremy,
No,
this
on
is
the metal.
here, right here.
I bet you that thing got hot.
Just
over
you could
time.
see all the photos,
They're designed for that, though.
left and
It was
right.
a high torque clutch, 700 foot-pounds
Foot-pounds
of
of
torque.
Even all the pads were fine on there. We still had meat on both sides of them.
Yeah.
You know. So
There was just a fracture.
So here's the thing. So I've been emailing McLeod back and forth.
That looks pretty worn.
On which one?
Those little pads.
Yeah.
They look
still-
that way when they're new.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Yeah.
So emailing the manufacturer.
Yep.
Because I needed a clutch for my car coming through. And we've talked about possibly not going with McLeod.
Corrupted that thing.
Yeah.
Not going with McLeod because of how this failed. However, one of the issues I have, again, back to the TR66 transmission, is because I have a GT Mustang and not a Shelby Mustang, is a very unique setup adapting that transmission to the engine. Most clutch manufacturers, if you have a TR660 with a Shelby transmission in a Shelby car, means that you can hook up a flywheel that's a 8-bolt main to the main crank. At 11.5-inch flywheel?
Well, it varies, but yes. That's
The problem with Liger is she's a 6-bolt main. So you have to find a clutch company that will...
It's your splines that are different. So you have the 8-bolt for the GT500, which
With
is
the
a 10 spline.
No, 26.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It is the 26. And then the stock GT with the 6-bolt
As a 10.
has a 10 spline stock.
Correct.
But you've mated a 26 spline into the GT. So you have to get a 6-bolt with a 26 spline, which does exist.
Yeah,
But there's fewer options.
correct.
Yeah.
So what I ultimately went with was we went back with McLeod. I talked to their department, and as we're emailing back and forth about the clutch, the guy that I tried contacting was out for the day, and because of lack of time, we need to get something ordered. Talking to another one of their representatives, we decided probably the best bet, instead of going with a single clutch, would be a twin disc clutch. So this time, it's the one I went with was called the McLeod Extreme Dual Twin Clutch RST line, which is the organic clutches. And the reason by going rather than ceramic metallic was the organics are better for driving on the road, which Liger is still a road car, as well as the talking to them. When the organics start failing, you're going to feel that slipping. With the other ones, with the ceramic puck pads, you're not going to feel it. It just keeps gripping.
Yeah. And the way we talked it through, he's like, why is that? So those organic, or I'm sorry, the sintered metal, ceramic ones, they grab until it's done.
Until they don't.
It's kind of like a lithium battery. It runs until it's out and then it stops. So you have engagement on that clutch until that clutch is completely done and then it quits working.
Yeah. So, as well as I'm only planning on making 450 horse, so 800 sounds like a good middle ground.
Yeah.
Now, I'm hoping, because it's twin disc clutch, that if the possibility of the center being shredded, that was what ultimately caused it. Again, we're still figuring out. Having two clutches is going to prevent that, one. And two, it's also going to make it more streetable living, because the biggest problem I had with Liger is whether I'm in stop-and-go traffic, at a light, trying to go up, or at like a drive-through, it chatters like no one's business with the old puck style. It would shake and vibrate. I'd like to have something more livable for the street.
Still going to shake.
Still going to shake?
Well, I mean, not when
Not
you're
as
letting, not when you're, it's going to make a rattling noise. I was telling you about
Yeah.
that. Most dual clutch systems, when you push your clutch in,
Yeah.
you've got two friction discs and you've got the middle, I don't even know.
Adapter.
It's the steel ring, right? It's your other flywheel basically between the two.
Yeah.
There's a name for it. I'm drawing a blank.
Tuning
Anyway,
fork.
It is not a tuning fork.
Turtle shell.
You want to keep going, or shall we just skip that part.
Skip it for now.
Okay. Anyway, so when you push in your clutch pedal, it releases your pressure on those plates, right? So that middle one shakes back and forth because it's not squeezed together. And you're going to hear that.
And that's fine hearing it.
Yeah.
There's a difference between hearing something and like literally just shaking.
Yeah. So when you let your clutch out, you're talking about that. Yeah.
You know.
That light switch feeling of the centered metal.
Correct.
That clutch did have a light switch feel.
Yeah.
Most of
Which
the
was-
metal.
it was
Metal ceramic
on or
ones
off.
do. They do.
Yeah. And I feel like the way, in autocross, like that's not going to be too terrible for how I do it because, again, I'm not hard on the shift thing in terms of launching. In terms of shifting, I'm going to be just click, click.
I think you like it. I think you like the organic pads. And plus you went with a 9.5 inch diameter clutch. So that's going to reduce your spinning inertia, right? Your rotating mass.
And I also went with aluminum flywheel.
Yes. So you're going to lose a little bit of weight off of your clutch system. That'll be good.
So is aluminum flywheel, that's a lightweight flywheel?
Mm-hmm.
It's what, another 20 pounds off? Is what we just found out?
Yeah.
I don't-
Your rotating mass is going to get lighter, so
Yeah.
your horsepower is going to come on faster.
Yes.
But that,
With the organic pads, it's going to be fine.
Yeah,
because it's 9.5. It's not like he's running 7.25, which, those things are really hard to maintain engine momentum to get them moving, but 9.5 would be just fine.
The other thing I found that was interesting, and I'm hoping to get more information as this goes by, the original guy I'm emailing from McLeod's going into it, and I made it very clear to him, that I'm not looking for a warranty claim. I'm not looking, saying this, you guys. I'm like, I want to know what happened, so I know that A, this doesn't happen in the future, or it helps you guys out, whatever you can, because I just don't want another clutch grenade on me, both for safety aspect as well as just for time for repair. It was a pain in the butt, So the latest update, and he's not 100% sure, and they said they're actually asking if I can send my parts to them, and I'm willing to do that if they're willing to pay shipping or whatever.
Yeah.
Even if, or I'll send if it's not like an arm and leg off my thing. What he thinks is it was the pressure plate, which I thought was interesting. I'm gonna pull up the email.
Did you look inside the pressure plate and see if there was anything that was sticking out or seemed out of place, like that it could have grabbed onto the friction disc some way and caught it? Was there something that didn't look right?
I didn't see anything from especially from seeing it in person. No.
Yeah.
He says, not 100% sure. I'm leaning towards the pressure plate starting to come loose at which started the havoc. I can see potential wetness marks of each
Witness marks, but
of that starting to happen.
Okay.
They said they might be able to confirm it and see it in person, and that would be
that'd be cool.
Yeah, because it'd be nice to know. Okay, if the clutch didn't fail, if the pressure plate, why?
Right.
And another thing I should stress was this was also a COVID bought part, 2021, and maybe I'm not saying on their part or whatever, but
Well, it could
back
have
in the day, manufacturing during COVID wasn't the best.
Yeah,
Materials weren't the best.
And it's hard to know when exactly that specific part was manufactured. It could have been made in 2018 or 2019 and sat on a shelf for 2 or 3 years. You never know.
Yep.
There might be date codes or serial numbers that they can reference and figure all that out.
Yeah.
And who knows where it was made? Was it made in China? Where do they make their stuff?
I don't know. I think USA.
I have no idea.
Yeah. But regardless, if they think it's that, it'd be interesting to find out why. Because maybe that might be a thing. If that's a common problem on this one, maybe it might happen to other than they have recall. Maybe.
Well, sounds like they have not seen that before, at least on that particular unit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very interested to know what they come up with.
Yeah. But I'm also happy that they're being communicative enough to help me out.
I do think that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
for them.
Definitely.
That's pretty good customer service there, instead of just them saying, "Oh, too bad it broke."
Yep.
And especially after whatever, you got 60,000 miles on that clutch, they could easily just say, "I don't know, it failed."
Yeah. And that was another thing I was trying to figure out. I think it's more doing math. May have been 20,000. It was 2021. So in 3 years. I actually
you
don't think I put much on Liger. In fact, she was down for most of the time. Might have been less than that.
And mostly you've done is racing. I mean, it's not like you commute with it or anything.
No, you're right. So there was actually a year or two where Liger wasn't even street legal. So she maybe have only had maybe 2,000 miles on it, maybe.
Yeah, it would be interesting. There's no way to find that out, but that would be interesting to know.
I'll have to look back at my records. I think I might. have something, I might be able to look into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the other thing is when we because
Okay, so if it's only got 2,000 miles on it, that's not very good.
no, it's not. That's also the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
2,000 hard miles.
Yeah. Racing miles are not easy on a car.
we've literally started at 6,000 miles on the 2,000. I'll find
I
out.
know,
that
right?
number.
I was wondering how many miles are on your car to begin with.
Yeah, 'cause she's right now at 140 right now.
Oh, okay.
When I installed that transmission, I wrote in PIN on what the mileage was. However, it's no longer there.
Yeah.
So I know somewhere it's written down also. I need to figure that out. But I believe when we swapped that transmission in there, it was like 150, 120,000 miles. I know it was after 100,000 miles.
Okay.
So need to figure out when and where I had that in there. Anyways, but yeah, no, I'm excited for it. We'll see how it goes. On top of that, I decided to do a couple more upgrades to Liger for peace of mind as well as something I want to. Performance-wise, we upgraded to a Ford Performance single-piece aluminum drive shaft.
Oh, that's right.
It's supposed to, again, weigh...
Tell us about the advantages, for the weight advantages.
So the weight advantage is it drops another 20 pounds off of it. Some people claim it's adding like another quote-unquote 15 horses to your car.
Yeah.
Because the original Mustang, including Shelby Mustangs, up until 2013-14 beforehand, all Mustangs from 05 to 2012 were a two-piece drive shaft.
Right.
And they did that for vibration purposes as well as maintenance or something.
So do you think you'll feel more vibration then with the single piece?
I don't think so.
Are you going to put urethane bushings in, or is that a possibility to do that?
I don't know. I don't know if it is, but I'll probably keep it where it's at.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the one thing I'm worried about, it should be fine. Again, CR6060 in a GT Mustang.
Yeah.
So the way the math works on this is that should be where the exact Shelby transmission should be for in a Shelby Mustang. So if that's the case, I ordered a Shelby length drive.
So there was was there a measurement when you looked it up?
I did, yeah.
And did you get under the car and go tape measure here, tape measure there, and go, yeah, that'll work?
Yeah.
I heard.
Did you hear
no
that?
in there.
That's what I
That
heard.
was a hard no.
So I measured.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just have one made?
So I measured. Well, because I'll get to that. I measured the drive line that came out of it, and it's 52 inches, which is the same as the Shelby at 52 inches. Okay.
All right.
Okay, well, that's fair. You did a
However,
measurement.
the two-piece doesn't go in a straight line. It goes forward and bolts up, and then goes down.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the angle is going to change or
Right.
how that's going to affect it because it's now a straight line going down towards it.
Right.
So that is one big worry onto it.
Well, you'll know, and
No, right away.
when you put it up there and go, well,
Yeah.
I guess I'm staying two piece because
Yeah.
this doesn't fit.
Yeah, the other big reason it was because in my car I have a 2012 GT500 driveline. That driveline, one of the U-joints started leaking. I could fill it full of more grease and whatnot, but just a matter of time till it's gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I'm there, I might as well do it. The last thing I decided to do is after something clutch exploded, figured probably put a little more safety in there. I paid the extra money to get a driveline safety loop to put underneath the car.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Especially with a single piece. Mm-hmm. I mean, probably even smarter with a dual piece, actually, because you got more points of failure.
Oh, yeah. It'd be like a
Should have two of
nunchucks.
them.
Yeah, just
So-
whipping around out there.
Your grease coming out of your U-joints.
Mhm.
That's normal.
Not in this case. It's enough where when I brought my differential to the shop, they thought the differential was leaking, and so did I.
Oh.
It's a
All over the
cavity
end of it.
that's probably
Do you grease it often?
it's about this big. You can't grease it. It's supposed to be a sealed unit in this one, and I already looked up.
no
You can't
Zerk fittings
you can't rebuild it either. So once they fail, I could put
That's a poor design.
Yeah, because all mine on my old Ford had
Pull the end caps
Zerk
off.
fittings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it had like
Yeah.
right in the middle of one of the
Yeah.
little knuckles. It had a Zerk fitting.
So this one, it's not like the traditional,
Throwaway
X1.
society,
It's
no.
not an X1.
Yeah.
It's got like a grommet over it, and then it's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's liquid fit or just gel filled to help give a whatever the hell onto it. But anyways,
Interesting.
yeah.
I don't know. Never seen one like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't either.
But hopefully it'll work. If it doesn't, then I'll throw back to the old driveline. And
So tell me when the parts are coming in, Grant.
oh boy. So I was guaranteed.
2026.
So I was guaranteed.
Season's done.
Yeah.
So I did go to American Muscle to buy all these parts.
Yeah.
I with Mustangs you vary on different websites where you go. You know, they are distributed from McLeod, so I'm still getting it through McLeod. I was told through American Muscle, especially over Memorial Day weekend, 10% discount on all McLeod parts. So I'm already a couple thousand in. That's
Sure.
take some good
$100
amount
off.
Yeah, why not? So the salesman, we had broken the order into multiple pieces so I can get stuff ordered and shipped to me as fast as possible. So the clutch, slave cylinder, the flywheel, and the pilot bearing, that's all coming in guaranteed on Saturday. 3 days
Saturday this week.
this week.
Okay.
I am getting my drive shaft and the safety loop anywhere from Saturday to guaranteed no later than Tuesday this week.
Got.
So
And then you have it packed up and in the trailer by Friday to go to the races.
yeah, Thursday. So it gives me, if I get it Tuesday, I'll have the car drivable Tuesday night because the drive line's going to be,
Providing Sunday you get all the other pieces put together.
Right.
that's the game plan. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Saturday working on whatever I can, Sunday working whatever I can. Oh, by the way, and the bell housing should be in tomorrow. So should be. So Liger should be up and running. We'll see.
Okay.
I've been under time crunches before. I've got Jeremy's looking forward to being in the shop this weekend and putting some heavy hours in.
Yeah.
Heavy hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob's gonna be there
I will
throughout the
do that
entire week.
from Leavenworth.
Pizza and beer.
Yeah. After work, Rob will be at the shop the entire week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure.
That's not happening. is it?
Well, no, that's not happening. Thanks for the clutch update.
Yeah.
It's been fun to watch. Mm-hmm. And yeah, when you said Saturday, I'm
Sure,
like,
it was fun to watch.
man.
I will say, because Jeremy, you weren't there for this,
No.
but I'm excited for next weekend when she's running, where she's going to be at competitively. If she's still going to be up at the top again, or if I'm going to be where I'm at in the pack.
Man, I'm excited for that too. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm also quite nervous
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you nervous?
because you're probably going to beat me.
Oh no, you're fast.
Either that or he's
We've had-
winching it back in.
We had a solid month. You know what that means? It means everyone went back to rearm their ammunition.
I know.
So this is going to be very interesting.
I spent at least 10 hours in the shop working on the car.
And some of those guys.
What'd you do to the car?
Top secret. Top Jimmy. It's secret.
Changed the camber angle. I knew it.
I changed a lot of
I
stuff.
swear, if you change that CD player to a 6-track,
I took it out, actually.
Which car?
Black one.
The black one. Okay.
yeah,
I actually took the CD player out. I was shaving weight.
there you go.
Gutted everything. There's no carpet. There's no door panels anymore.
I just realized I got a CD player in Liger with no CD player in Liger.
What?
I took the actual guts of the CD player.
Why don't you just take the CD player?
Oh, because you have Bluetooth or whatever?
Well, that too, but also back in the day, back in like 2010,
Probably had a
11,
6 or
the
12
one of the
change.
plastic gears broke at the time. I took it apart to find out, and at the time, 3D printing didn't exist, so I couldn't do anything. And that's again on the rare Shaker 1000 head unit. So I'm like, well, if with the gear out, it shouldn't be a big deal. But the problem is those Shaker units are always hunting, trying to find,
Constantly runs.
so it burns the battery.
Oh, jeez.
So I just removed the entire guts of it.
No.
So I'm like, okay, we'll make this work.
I mean, you could have just unplugged it.
Yeah, but then I don't have music.
Oh, right.
I know. Yeah, and we're at that conundrum again.
Wait, if
Yeah,
you
we are.
unplug the CD player, you lose your music?
Yeah. If I have it in my head, the people
Power
just think
for the
I'm
whole
crazy.
unit. Power for the out of the back.
Oh.
Yep. Okay. All right. That was fun. Let's move on. Do you want to do? We'll take a vote.
Okay.
We'll do project cars,
Okay.
or do you want to do the next challenge build?
Should we do project?
You know,
cars?
I was going to say something about that off the top, and I forgot.
Okay.
The challenge. Anyway, go ahead.
Should we do project cars first?
Yeah.
Because then, if those could possibly lead into the challenge, right?
Sure.
I don't know because I don't know what challenge is.
I'm good with it.
I don't know what the challenge is, but I
Nope.
I
I
bet
know
my
what it is.
Jeremy,
bet
so
my
bring up
card
your Facebook Market stuff for sale.
I bet my 3 don't come
We had to have 3? Oh, I picked a whole bunch.
No.
Yeah, you were annoying with it is what you were.
You don't get
Jeez.
more than 3.
Okay, I'll have to figure out which ones are good ones.
Yeah, we'll cut you off.
Okay.
Not to worry.
Rob, how about you go first since you're already on there looking at stuff?
I was trying to find the ones that I highlighted.
I can start. I got it pulled up.
Do
Go
it.
for it.
All right, so I found my first one is a 1992 Corvette convertible. I know a bunch of people are going to probably crucify me for this, but I picked automatic transmission. And I picked this one for a very specific reason.
Okay.
I said, this is something I would drive like out to the beach to grab some clam chowder or to the local bar to grab dinner with the wife, something along those lines. And I did project builds this week.
Okay.
So in this one, the car was only $7,000. And the only things I'm going to replace in this car would be the stereo head unit. I'd put some new component speakers and an amplifier. That's it.
That's it?
That's it. This car, it's a beautiful car. Let me pull it up real quick.
Okay.
It's like a burnt
Beautiful
orange.
car.
Yeah.
Look at this thing. Perfect shade.
Is that orange or is
Wow.
that torch red?
I think it's torch red.
Yeah.
What engine does it have in it?
92 would have been a Chev 350, right? Or is that early LS?
I think it's an LT.
Yeah, it's an
Oh,
LT.
LT.
LT1. So that one, oh no, look, it has the red valve cover. Is that an LS?
No, it doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
Pretty car.
Yeah, it's
Very
still
nice.
making 300 horses, which is good.
That's high for a C4.
Yeah, because once after 91, that's when they started increasing power onto it.
Very clean, though.
Nice.
I really
That would be a fun cruiser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7,000?
$7,000.
That's actually really nice.
This one
How many
it's
miles?
on Facebook Marketplace has 125,000 miles. Where did I find this one? Vancouver, Washington.
Okay.
Kept in a garage.
Kept in a garage.
Always. Okay, I got one.
Hang on. You should read the
What?
description. Update. Holding on for now due to damages caused by kids. Getting estimate on repairs.
Caused by kids. Those damn kids.
thugs. They see stuff
Those
on the
meddling
internet and they have
kids.
to.
There is some work. It looks like it runs, but it needs throttle body worked on.
Well, those are just reasons you can ask, get it for less.
Yeah.
Looks like
you
you might
5,000.
have the throttle bodies.
How much do you think realistically you could get that for, Jeremy?
I bet you could offer 5 and get it.
Is it an automatic or a manual?
It's an automatic.
Okay. 5 wouldn't be a bad price for that then.
Yeah.
Running and driving with, it's not bad mileage.
With some work.
Okay. Rob, do you want to go next or you want me to?
I can go next.
Okay.
So I found a car out of El Paso, Texas.
Okay.
This is a 71 Pontiac Firebird Formula version. It's got the hood
Oh.
scoops.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Badass.
Oh, wow. So,
Yeah.
That's a super nice one. A 71.
I like
how long
that
till it
color.
goes in your garage?
Well, it's $5,500.
So how long till it goes in your garage?
And it's only a roller, so it doesn't have a motor or a tranny in it. It's got a little bit of fender damage on the driver's front. It's fixable, whatever, and you can replace those fenders. I think 55 is too high. I get where they're coming from because it's a unique body style. I don't
Yes.
think there were a whole lot of the Pontiac Firebird Formula cars. You'd have to look that up, right?
Yeah, I think they were limited.
Yeah, I think they were pretty limited as well. Just zooming in on the pictures, hard to tell what the rust situation is like. It kind of looks like behind the rear tires, there may be some cover-up paint done, like they did a little spray paint over some rust and things like that. So it might not be so cherry, probably a lot of work. So again, the $5,000 is probably too high.
Okay.
But it is a great body style. I love the front end on these cars. It's
Oh, it's fantastic.
basically a 71 Camaro with a Pontiac nose and a different hood with the scoops. The tail lights are a little different because the Camaros used round ones and these use, the elongated rectangular Firebird tail lights.
I like that.
It has no interior though, completely gutted. It looks like driver's floorboards
That's not too bad. If you need,
Some rust spots here and there. I mean, you can get patch panels for these things.
Yeah.
Again, the $5,000 is too much for this car.
Yeah.
It's a heck of a project.
What
There's
do
a
you
lot of work to be done.
what do you think a reasonable price for that car is?
3.
3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the dash is all cracked and like the center console is missing. There's a lot missing on this car. So I think 3 is fair because it's literally just the body.
If it's missing the interior, the good news is our listeners could go back to episode 27. We talked about interiors with Mike.
You're talking about innovation?
Yes.
I think it was innovations, yeah. Am I misquoting that? Because my memory is pretty bad. So.
But yeah, our listeners can go back and get interiors.
What year was that car?
71.
71.
Yeah.
I looked up the 70s.
It's in El Paso, Texas. They're asking $5,500, like I said, probably too high. But let's see. I think it's been listed for. Oh shoot! It just. Let me see.
So 7802 were made in 71.
How many?
7,800 of them.
7,800.
Wow.
Interesting.
And in 70, I think there were 7,700.
With the formula version.
Yes.
Okay.
So there were 19,000 Firebirds total.
Okay.
Okay.
And 7,700 of them. 7,800 of
It's
them.
quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was just listed this last week, so it's fairly fresh listing.
That's good.
I don't think it's going to move super fast, but if you're into Pontiac Firebirds and want a rolling chassis,
Well, it should move super fast when you throw an LS in it.
that's right. Yeah. Put a big old LS in that thing.
LSX.
At least a 6.2.
Thing in boot, scoot, and boogie.
Yeah, it would. It would be pretty awesome. That's my first listing.
Grant.
Granto,
Yeah. Sorry, I was looking.
what you got, buddy?
So I sent all you guys on our Facebook page some of the listings I was looking at.
Yeah.
The one that first caught my eye for our listeners in Snohomish, Washington, is a 1981 Fiat X19 for $800.
Wow.
So
Parts car.
we've
Yeah.
we've talked about Fiats before, how they're cheap. However, the first thing you see on this one is a video of it running and driving.
Okay. For $800. Dang.
On top of that, it comes with a aftermarket giant front splitter intake
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
Already, parts are hard to find with these cars, especially aftermarket.
Yeah.
So if you're buying this, you already can build this into a race car. They give actually in the photos a few examples of hill climb cars that are built from X19s, as well as just some of the race cars.
What motor does that one have in it?
So this one has it's an 81. So this is what got me.
Okay.
I see from the top of it what looks like a carbureted motor. So the carbureted motors were a 1.3 liter engine originally, naturally aspirated 4-cylinder,
Okay. Did they scream pretty high? They have a high red line.
7,500 RPM.
It's pretty good.
However, it's an 81, which I'm still trying to look through the photos. That should have been a fuel-injected car. And if it is, then that's a 1.5 liter, which makes more horses.
But you said you saw carburetors.
Yeah, I say a carburetor. And they could have possibly taken that out and put in a carburetor instead because one of the problems with the fuel injection was it was not the best fuel injection. It was a Bosch at the time, mechanical.
Okay.
But again, it doesn't say in the information, in the description, which it is. But those cars being a 1.5 liter, you also get a 5-speed out of it, whereas the 1.3 liter was a 4-speed.
That's cool.
So that was one thing.
Yeah.
Runs, drives. It says it needs some brake work and electrical work, but for it to be a daily, quote unquote. Seats are out of it, but he has them, which is important because seats are hard to come by those cars.
Okay.
Asked $800 and will trade for I have no idea, an Arma Carton, I don't know what it is, or a Traxxas RC car.
RC car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh,
So-
I have one.
If you're looking for
There
a
you
car,
go.
yeah, there you
Fiat.
go.
In
So-
Snohomish.
I will say this as a guy who's restoring one or two of them. If you're restoring it, parts are difficult to come by. Be prepared to do a lot of work on yourself. Or there's 2 vendors that are known in the Fiat world to sell Fiat parts. They're a bit more expensive, but those guys know what they all about what you could need, and
Yeah.
they'll help you out. And the
That's
Fiat
cool.
community is very helpful.
Yeah, that's important.
If you're not looking to restore it, they're made of metal, easy to weld, bend,
Yeah.
work on.
Nice.
And just go from there. They're really good mid-engine cars, engines in the back,
Yeah.
little Little sports car.
Yeah. Cool. Little mountain cruiser.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Fun little toy. All right. Speaking of toy,
Do it.
my second one, I picked a 1964 Ford C600.
Ooh, a cab over.
Yeah, this thing's cool.
So look at this thing. It's lowered.
Wow.
It runs. It had a steering issue.
Okay.
It's got a bunch of extra parts.
Hey, Jeremy.
Oh, sorry.
Into the mic.
Sorry.
There you go.
Sorry.
Yeah, Grant, what the heck?
Hold on. let me
Right?
move the
What's up with
microphone.
this guy?
I'm trying to read here. Anyway, really nice. It looks like the flatbed itself. If I go through the pictures, there's nothing on it.
It's a frame
It's a frame.
with no deck.
It is definitely lowered. And I had two thoughts. One, I said redeck it.
Yeah.
Two, Rob and I were talking before the show, and I actually think if you found an old Airstream trailer and put it up on top
Mounted
of
it
there,
would
right
be
to
good.
it. It'd
Oh,
be
man.
so freaking cool.
and
You could hang big old tanks underneath it so you'd have tons of fresh water and dump
Oh, yeah.
tanks and stuff. Lots of room to do that kind of thing. I think that would be awesome. Just make a big old cab over.
it'd be badass.
Yeah, it really would be. How long is that deck?
I didn't see the length.
I honestly think that would be just sick to make a tow rig out of it, right? You haul your stacker behind that thing,
I
put an Airstream on it.
It's
So-
got a 5.9 Cummins too.
So I-
So perfect.
oh wow, it's gonna come. I will say, so my family, we've got two C600s, but they're the 50s round body style. And because of that, growing up, I've always haven't liked the C6, the next body style.
This one that's more square,
However,
boxy.
I will say it's been growing on me. Actually, in the last few years, I'm like starting to come around where I'm actually starting to like how the boxy look because nothing looks like it anymore.
Yeah,
You know?
I like that thing.
Yeah.
I think that is freaking cool.
Yeah.
What was that you showed on the rear suspension? Was that a lift jack?
I was trying to figure that out. No, it's part. There it is.
Yeah,
It looks like it's part of a torsion bar setup.
it looks like it's on the ground though.
It's pretty fucking close.
Yeah,
It looks like a spring, and this looks like a.
I don't know. It looked to me like a leveling system. So you hit those things on the ground.
I think it's on airbags.
Okay,
Yeah, that
That
looks like
makes
an
sense.
airbag.
that does. Yep, you're right. So that thing is set up. Somebody was restoring this
Yeah.
truck.
Yeah,
I don't know what their plan to do with it was, but I love the camper idea.
$22,000. The only thing I would do to it, well, besides the stereo, because stereo is a theme, that color.
We got to describe the color because the listeners
So,
can't see that.
It is a gorgeous blue. It is called Sapphire Candy Jewel, and it is a House of Color paint.
You know what color that is for our listener to be described for? That is the launch edition color for the 2020 Shelby GT500
Yeah.
blue.
100%.
Yeah.
Actually, that with two white stripes down the middle,
Oh God, that'd be sick.
wouldn't that be fucking dope?
That would be.
Oh,
Yeah.
So here's a question to ask
So
you.
okay, I have a question too.
C600, it's got mud tires on the back of it, on that dually.
I'd put streets
Would
on
you put street tires on it? That was,
it.
yeah.
I would.
Um,
I'd put highway tires on it because that's what I would use it for myself. I would totally do the
Yeah.
camper theme, and I'd put streets on it, and I would tow a stacker behind that thing.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, 100%. With the 5.9, yeah, you'd have enough power.
I think so.
You could definitely boost it.
I mean, the gearing and all that.
yeah. Oh, that thing would be bad.
It say what kind of transmission was pulling it? It said Allison, didn't it?
I didn't see
Jump
that.
back to that because I'm curious about the cab interior, and maybe he hadn't got to
It
it
is
yet.
Cummins with an Allison.
Perfect.
Yeah, sick. That thing would be awesome.
Yeah. That'd
Did
be,
you see that thing going down the road? Lowered.
Old school bus engine.
Oh, the 5.9. It's the bus engine, huh?
Yeah.
That's cool. Is there pictures of the interior?
Yeah, actually, the seats look pretty good in it.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
Because-
the seats look okay, but it looks like there's.
Long haul comfort would be an issue. I'd
Yeah.
want some creature comforts in that thing.
maybe a tilting steering wheel.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And with the 5.9, like, is there any electronics? Can you do cruise control? Is there
I bet-
air conditioning?
I bet none of that's in there yet.
Yeah, so that would need to be done.
Project.
It is. It totally is a project truck. And there's, wide open possibilities to make that cab comfortable. There's not a lot of room in it. It looks like there's a little bit of room behind the seats. It's definitely not a four-seater.
Leather heated seats, though.
Oh, they're heated.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Okay.
Are they air ride?
They do not
suspension
look like
seats?
suspension seats.
Okay. They don't look like it, but I don't know what's under there.
Okay.
No, that's pretty sick. I think that would be. I've honestly, before I got my gooseneck camper trailer set up, I was thinking about getting like a Kodiak or some big 650 truck with the quad cab or whatever, and then doing that kind of conversion on the deck, on the flatbed, either building my own camper onto it or, like you said, taking an Airstream or something and setting it on there and just making a big old camper out of it.
That'd
So
be
I could tow a good sized trailer, either a stacker or something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
And you could get an 18-foot stacker. I mean, it doesn't have to be a 30-foot or
20-foot. Yeah, I would get it if I had the proper camper set up to tow with. I would get one that fits the cars, my size cars, Corvettes or whatever, and still with a little bit of room for tools and gear, and that would be it. I wouldn't oversize on that.
Yeah.
Just because they are so big. Yeah, super cool.
So we'll say before we go any further, I verified on this one. Chris Compton from Armo?
ARML, yeah.
Yeah. Aftermarket Restoration Market Association. Episode 24 is where we talked about interior restoration and where to get interior, just for our listener.
Yeah, but what company? It's ARMO is the
Company.
Armo? No.
Oh,
that's
Distinctive Industries.
Thank you.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah.
All right. Should I go next? Because I have another. So this one is out of Oakland, Maryland.
Ooh.
Okay. 1983.
East
Yeah. I went a little East Coast for the guys because, we got a lot of listeners out there. An 83 Mercury Capri. Anybody know what that is?
I do.
All right.
Sounds familiar. Is that the first with the
It's a Fox body.
It's a Fox body.
Okay.
It's basically the Mercury Fox body Mustang.
They were much cheaper and had the same drivetrain.
Yes, they did have the same drivetrain. And it depends on who you ask, but they had nicer interiors than the Fords did. The Mercury was a little nicer. I don't know if that's entirely true or not. I'm just going off what I've read.
The other one that had the same drivetrain was the Granada.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a sleeper.
So this one has a moonroof. So it's got the glass top, and it's got a bubble glass hatchback on it. It's got a 302 5-speed. It's had a little bit of work done to it. It does. Let's see. I think it runs. Yeah, runs, drives. Needs a little bit of carburetor adjustment, blah, blah, blah. It's a work in progress. He hasn't really gotten much into it. Interior is all there and actually not too shabby. The driver's seat's a little bit worn thin. Like, it's not
toast yet.
It's not toast. No, there's a couple of seams that are starting to separate, but it's not toast. Passenger seat looks a little bit better. The carpet's all there, but it could probably be, probably replaced. Dash, maybe one crack in it, but really not bad. All the glass is there. It's actually a pretty decent looking little car. They want $5,000 for it, but it's been listed for 6 months.
Ooh.
Right?
Probably get that for $3,000.
Yeah, quite possibly. I'm just thinking like somebody that wants to get, if you like the Mustangs and the Fox bodies, it's a 5-liter, 5-speed. That's freaking badass.
Yeah.
Go race that thing.
Hell yeah.
Right? If you're wanting to get into autocross or something like that, this is the car.
Good little car.
This is a great car for that. And it's a runner driver. Maybe you need a little tuning and adjusting on it, but that's part of the fun, right?
I love that they called it a 302 in the ad.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a 5.0.
It's a 5-liter, yeah. But, I mean, in 83, it was a 302 back then. You didn't call it a 5-liter.
Yeah.
What's it got in it? It's a 302. Yeah.
Same shit.
Same shit. So, pretty sweet little car. Like I said, it's Oakland, Maryland, listed on Marketplace. Go pick it up. Let us know.
Nice.
Tell us your plans. Yeah, I like it. It's
Tell us
cool.
what you would do to it.
And it's blue. It's got the hood scoop. A little hood scoop on it. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. Who's up?
Me. I'm sorry. I'm going down the rabbit hole because I'm finding a lot more stuff.
I know what I would pick on your list.
So I'm going to talk about this one next because the one that's caught my eye. This one, I was surprised I found this. It's a 2026, so brand new, Ford Formula F2000 race car
That's the one I would have picked.
for $9,500.
Yeah.
In
A 2026 with motor.
with motor.
Oh,
Yeah, 2-liter.
What?
How you say this? Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Murfreesboro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not much needed. They said price drop needs gone for space. It is essentially an open wheel car, mid-engine, aero. I don't know. How would you guys describe it? It looks like a small Formula car, like a Formula 3 car.
It's a
Formula
Formula
Ford.
Ford.
Yeah.
That's the racing series that they drive in is a Formula Ford.
Then there you go.
Yeah.
For
That's,
less than $10,000.
Is that the 2.3 liter?
This is a 2-liter.
2.0.
2
Yeah.
liter.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
Super fun race series. I've watched a bunch of that stuff, and
Yeah.
I would love to get into that. But
Yeah.
Actually,
for $9,000, that's a good price.
For the price, I mean,
Does it come with anything else?
you can get into
This
that
one
cheap.
doesn't. But again,
Some do.
brand new.
Yeah. Brand new is pretty cool.
Yeah. Under 10 grand.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you buy this. I know we're a project show. This isn't much of a project. This is buy it, go race it.
Oh, you'd
I like
race
that.
it, but you'd still need a project.
That's true.
Well, yeah, it becomes a project. Racing is a project.
Yeah.
Your project wouldn't be necessarily the car right
be
off
upkeep.
the bat. It would be 1, upkeep, 2, you'd have to find some spare parts.
Yeah.
That's going to be your project, is
So-
finding the extra shit.
Racing is a
Here's-
project.
Here's one thing I'll say. So this is the Ford Spec Racers, right?
Yes.
Okay. I've got a friend.
I got a friend of a
We've
friend.
talked about this.
Yeah, your dipshit friend.
We went to race these in a Gen 2, so an older style car of this, you know? $5,000 to rent it for a weekend.
Yeah.
Per day.
And he complained about it.
Which I'm like, why aren't you buying one? And now I'm like, really, why aren't you buying one?
That's
Yeah, it's
commitment.
$9,000.
It's commitment.
He had, in one race, put half of that into that car.
Yeah.
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 So what I'm telling our listeners now is this is a series that you can afford and go and drive if you want to get into an open wheel-on-wheel competition. They're out there and they're affordable.
Yeah. I caution you though,
Okay?
because racing is not cheap.
No, that's
It might be affordable to buy the car, but then you've got upkeep, tires, motors, you've got rebuilds, you've got FIA licenses, it's expensive.
I should say it's
adds
cheaper
up.
than renting one.
Yes.
Uh,
Well, I like your
yes and no.
hesitation. I like your hesitation because yes, you rent it for your $5,000 a weekend and you walk away.
yes.
You buy one for $9,000 and you continue to put money into
That's
it.
right.
Yeah, but you go race after
So-
race after race.
But something's going to break.
yeah,
You're either going to put it into a wall and need to rebuild the suspension. You're going to blow up a motor and have to rebuild the 2-liter. And it's a spec motor.
so it has to be the exact
So
same one.
it's going to have to go to a specific builder.
Yep.
It's going to have to be sealed.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
It's not gonna be
ain't
cheap.
Now, if you want to buy it and just do track days, have fun.
yeah.
Either that or go dominate an autocross course.
Yeah.
And if you're doing
racing
autocross
XM or whatever.
If you're doing something like that and you're racing autocross or doing track days and stuff like that, you don't have to have the spec motor.
That's
There you
right.
go.
That's right. Yeah, you can go a lot of different directions with that
Yeah,
and have a really good time.
yeah.
Yeah. So fun. Super fun. Yeah. I like it.
My turn.
Yes.
All right. Last one. I picked an 88 Chevy Silverado 3500 crew cab. Kind of another little tow rig, right?
Yep.
Let's check this thing out. Look at this thing, Grant.
Explain.
Wow.
It is a lowered dually. The grill hides the headlights. It's chrome bumpers, chrome mirrors, got chrome strips around the windows. It's got the roof lights. It's in a little bit of a rough paint shape, I would say.
Yeah, it needs a paint job.
It needs paint.
It's a crew cab.
It is a crew
It
cab.
is a crew cab.
That's huge with an 8-foot bed.
Yes.
It's a big,
It
long
is
truck.
a big truck. Look at that thing, though.
So it is a Chevy
It looks kinda
Silverado.
It is low and wide.
Yeah,
Yes,
it looks
sir.
funny from the back.
It does.
Huh.
I would change something back.
Is that considered an S body or a C body?
I have no idea.
Well, I'm asking because that's something Chad would drive or not.
Yes.
Okay.
Chad would.
It's still a square body.
It's a square body. It's not. I don't know if this is considered the
Do you still call
C
them?
series.
No, I don't think so. Do you still call them a square body?
We're gonna have to message this to our C10 truck nerd.
I
Nasty.
mean, the front's the square.
It's a square body dually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody correct us.
What else?
Chad, let us know what we're killing on this.
80,000 miles on it. It's got a 454 big block with the turbo 400 trans.
So it drinks the fuel.
Oh yeah.
It's a thirsty
but,
beast.
But you're not probably going to change much fuel mileage between empty and towing.
Yeah, 2 miles a gallon. Maybe 4 on a good day. Downhill.
You might get 7 on the freeway.
Yeah. Not towing. Yeah.
Not towing. And then 6 if you do.
Yeah.
Okay, so Grant,
Mm-hmm.
I'm painting this thing.
Again?
Oh, the truck. Yeah.
This one's getting painted. We're going to go with the Brandywine Candy. Also a House of Colors.
Dark metallic red.
Yes.
I'm trying to think what's.
It's like a
For those
red
that can't
with
see the screen.
light undertone of orange.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the orangish C6 Corvette color.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Is there a color they name for that?
Yeah.
I don't know. And you
There
know what
is.
I would add to this?
I'm blanking.
You know what I would add to this?
What?
Metal fleck.
It doesn't have it in it. It looks like it
Oh,
does.
that looks like it does.
I would add bigger metal fleck.
Bigger. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so you change the orange red truck into a more orange/red truck.
Yes.
Okay.
But totally the same color.
Okay.
Okay.
Flash red.
Now-
It's the flash red.
Let's talk about the
That's
I'm
darker.
surprised
That's
you keep
darker
the
than flash
dualies
red.
on
Though.
that thing. What I would do is get rid of the dualies and put a big,
I would probably do a single wide and a
just
giant
get a
wide one.
big wide tire.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it'd be sick. On
That would look better.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the build, I went with. Let's talk about the stereo first. I'm doing an Alpine receiver, UT73. It is a single DIN, really nice receiver. We're doing 2 Alpine subwoofers, 12-inch subwoofers for $99 each. We're going to do a set of focals, probably 2 sets of focals in this thing, to be honest.
Okay.
And that's for the front and the back doors.
Mm-hmm.
I did a 4-channel amplifier by Alpine, kind of keeping it in the same family. And
Okay.
then I did 2 sub amps.
How many watts you putting out of that amp?
So the sub amps were 350 watt, and I think the 4-channel was 60 watt per channel.
Okay.
So decent amount of power.
Yep.
Went with the flash
Flash red
Brandywine.
paint. Yep.
Yep. And then I'd leave the wheels. They were blacked out.
Yeah.
I thought those would look really good.
Kind
with
of
that
looked
red
like
paint.
Alcoas.
A little bit, yeah. And
I don't think they were, but they looked like
They had the
steel version.
almost the pointy lug nut on the front.
Yeah.
So I liked them. I would have left them. The other things that I noticed, the interior sucked.
Yeah.
It definitely
Was it stock?
It was stock. They were all cloth seats.
Yeah.
The whole 9 yards, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's do this. I want to show you the seats I picked.
Ooh, I like those.
Front buckets. They are a.
Would you go with the burgundy?
I would go with the burgundy.
Okay. To match the exterior, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're leather cloth,
Yeah.
and the back seat's the same.
Same.
I thought it was classy.
Mhm.
Kind of matches.
Yeah.
I would also paint whatever I could on the inside that Brandywine
match,
color to
right.
to match.
Kind of. Now, did that era of Chevy, did it have the metal dash? So, around
I think part of it was metal, part of it was plastic.
around the glove box and
Yes.
stuff. Your trim on your gauge cluster was all plastic. I know
That's
that.
all plastic and
Yeah.
black, and then the
And then from the center over to the passenger side
Yes,
was metal,
that
right?
was
So
metal.
you paint that.
yep.
And did it have the exposed A pillar with the headliner where it had metal there? You could paint that color
I
too.
think some of them.
Yeah.
Some of it was.
Yep.
That's rubber. I don't know if
There it
they
is.
give us a
Yep.
good picture.
There it is.
Okay.
You can't see the headliner, but
I really like the instrument
Yeah.
cluster though.
pretty standard Chevy instrument
Yeah.
cluster of all the 80s really.
Mm.
Good looking truck. And let's see the other thing. Last thing, carpet kit.
Yeah. Would you go red or black?
I went black.
Yeah. Nice. I like the black to offset all the red.
Yep.
Yeah. I think
And
that
that's
would
why I
look
went with it because the original carpet was red,
good. Red. Yeah.
but
Which is too much.
I thought just a little bit of black coloring
I
in
agree.
there.
Yes.
And then probably repaint the black plastics in the truck
Yeah, just to make them
to
pop.
make it pop.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, that'd be good.
Good looking truck, though.
Super good.
I think Ian would have dug this, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something he'd get into. I could see that.
Yeah.
All right, this is my last one. Who's familiar with a Mercury Cougar XR7?
Ooh. My mom had one when I was a kid.
So cool.
XR7.
1990 Cougar XR7.
This
that
is a
the one with
1967.
Oh.
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do know what that looks like, though.
Yeah, so it's got the grill with the pop-up headlights
Yep.
that are embedded in the grill.
Yeah.
That's a sexy car.
Very cool car. This is actually available in Tacoma, Washington, listed yesterday.
Ooh. Okay.
Not far from my mom.
Yeah. It is a running car. It is an automatic, unfortunately,
Is it
but it's a Cougar, and I kind of like them.
okay?
They're a 2+2, right? They're
Yeah.
a bigger car.
Yeah.
Decent sized back seat. It actually has those little half windows in the back seat that you can roll down.
Oh, nice.
It's kind of cool. Interior, like the back seat's in really good shape. I don't see any tears or anything like that. Looks like the headliner is all intact. The front seats are starting to split at seams and stuff, so they would need redone. But like I said, it's a running car. It's a V8 car. It doesn't list what size motor is in it. I'm thinking the XR7 probably, was a 302? I don't know if they had the 351s
I think
in
they
them.
did both.
Did they?
What year was it?
What year was
67.
it? It might have been a 289.
289.
Oh, sure.
302
Sure.
didn't come out until 1969.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
it might have had.
And the
Would it have been a 351 or a 352?
351s didn't come out. Well, they came out in 69, didn't they?
I don't know.
Yeah, but this is a 67.
It's a
Yeah, so
67.
no, then it'd be a 290.
Probably a 292.
No,
Sorry.
289.
289.
Yeah, for the smaller, but
Yeah.
on a bigger size, what would it have been? Not that they offered it in this, because I didn't look that up. I
I
don't
think
know.
the truck motor was a 352.
Yeah.
I think you could have got a 289 or something smaller.
Grant's
It might have
doing
been a
looking it up, yeah.
218 or something.
Okay.
Let's see what year.
67.
260.
So this is factory blue, black interior, black carpet. The carpet actually, from the pictures that I can see, carpet looks pretty good. Who knows if it's wet? Maybe it's mildewy. Maybe it smells. I don't know. It's got the center console shifter, which I always thought was cool.
Nice. Automatic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Automatic. The dash looks like it's in good shape, which is pretty important. Those are hard to replace. Grant's
Probably harder. Now.
Grant's
So,
thinking.
no, I got this is interesting. So it said the first gen Cougars lineup exclusively was V8s. A 289 cubic 4.7 liter V8 was available in either 2-barrel or 4-barrel, either at 200 horses or 225 horses.
Okay.
However, they did offer a Marauder version with a 390 cubic inch 6.4 liter Marauder engine, making 320 horses.
That'd be cool.
So which engine's that one?
That's it running.
Yeah, which engine is that?
Sounds like the 289.
Who knows? Who knows? It's got
The
a
big
4-barrel
block.
carburetor on
Tell you
it.
what, I was not expecting that to have a.
Yeah, sorry, it was a little loud, but it does have a 4-barrel carburetor on it.
Ooh, okay.
Whether
let's make
stock or not, who knows?
225
Does it
horses.
say what
then.
size carb it is?
No, I'm just looking at the pictures. I can zoom in. I don't know. Thought it was cool. I like the Cougars. It's a neat car. $1,500.
What?
Wow.
And it runs.
Does it drive?
Drive it away.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Jeremy, get up there.
So that was the
That's a good
kicker.
deal.
That was the kicker. It's got a little bit of rust on the back side or the back lower corner of the doors.
Who cares if it's running and driving?
I can't see any other rust. And maybe it's just because the pictures are bad. But, usually the lower quarter panels and stuff, maybe there's some there, but I can't see any in the pictures. Looks like the back corners of the window, like the back window where it usually gathers rust, I don't see any.
Okay.
It has been stored under a tarp or a cover. It's got a little bit of moss and whatever. So it's been outside, but covered.
Pressure wash that shit
Yeah.
clean. Call it a day.
$1,500.
Yeah, it's oh man.
If you're looking for a Cougar project car, this is it.
If you're looking for a
Yeah.
Cougar, you need to head to
Tacoma, Washington.
Tacoma, Washington.
I'm not just talking about the car.
Well, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, you be careful what Cougars you find up there, bud.
Saber-tooth tigers.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was pretty cool. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So, I have the last one because I've got a whole list of things. I need to talk about two, and the last one I'll only talk for like 10 seconds.
Give me your 10 seconds.
Okay. Right now?
Yeah.
So, I found on here, which I was very confused on why it was so cheap, a 2000 Ferrari 360 Modena Challenge car.
I saw it too.
In Mesa, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking full-on race car with a wing, interior, everything that's like makes a race car, and a Ferrari race car for that matter. On Hoosiers with a full-on cockpit, roll cage, etc. For $63,000.
How many times has it been wrecked?
It doesn't say. Doesn't say if it's been wrecked or not. Yeah, but that information is available.
Okay, so why is it so cheap?
I don't know. It's not street legal. So typically with a Ferrari,
Yeah, but I don't know if you're hitting the right crowd, the race car crowd especially, spec. Because there is the Ferrari Challenge.
Oh, yeah.
That car is not probably competitive in the Ferrari Challenge.
no.
But there are specific Ferrari races that car
So-
is available to
Correct,
race.
with their challenge spec race. Like
Right.
the 360 wasn't really known in the era for racing. The 430 was.
Well, I'm thinking newer 458s, 488s.
True.
Ferrari
but
Challenge stuff.
regardless, you're talking, 480 horse, 400-ish horses, 450 horses in the challenge car, lightweight, aerodynamics all around it, and a Ferrari that sings 8,500 RPM with the
Yeah.
mid-engine V8.
Yeah, I like the
for-
360s. I think they're a good looking car.
Yeah, with all the challenge spec stuff, like if you can afford this, my opinion is buy this rather than a C8.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
like there's definitely
That's a
other
better
cars,
car.
but again, it's only a race car. It's not street legal, so you have to love your race cars.
That can be fixed.
Is it is it a better car though?
Fixed. Well, actually, I don't know, but for appreciation value, it probably is.
Appreciation value for
Yeah.
for all the features it comes with, and
Yeah.
safety wise and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's ready.
yeah. I mean, you got a full cage.
If you're
full-
trying to go turnkey,
full roll cage, full harnesses on it.
That's cool.
I'm trying to think.
Now,
It's got a fire suppressor system.
if you're buying it as an investment car, cool. If you're buying it as a track day toy, cool. Be warned, it's going to cost.
it's
Yeah.
going to be one or the other
Yeah.
too.
Not really. Not necessarily.
You think
You could use it as track day toy for a while and then park it.
I will say, being the
maybe
Ferrari,
a couple days a year.
being the Ferrari
Yeah.
360, there actually has been YouTube channels coming out lately that have been just about that car and how to fix and afford
Yes.
it on a DIY.
Yeah.
So it
It
would
is
not-
one of the cars that you can do that with.
Correct.
I've noticed that as well. But parts are not cheap. Like, yeah, maybe there's some circumventing of different parts you can use or this or that, but it's still an expensive car to maintain.
Yeah, that's for sure on that one.
Yeah.
And it's also it looks like an F1 style car with the paddle shifters, so it will clutches will be cheap. The system itself, if that fails, will be expensive.
Yeah.
But
We talked about that before.
Yeah.
I saw another 360 as I was browsing. Don't recall where it was at. It was not the race challenge car. It was not listed as at 95,000. And I was wondering if that was a decent price.
so that's what I was going to say. So with the 360 series, they're roughly right now from seeing if you're looking at a F1 style paddle shift car that is a coupe car, I'm seeing price ranges for those cars roughly really rough shape. 60 to about 80,000 for a coupe, and about low end 80 to high end 100,000 for a Spider.
Okay.
Okay, which is the convertible.
Right.
When you get it a 6-speed, any one of those is going to be at 100 plus thousand. The 6-speed Ferrari is the rare one to go with,
Right.
But I don't see like they're going much further than that. And
Really? You think
especially-
they're ceiling?
no lower?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Like I think they're at their bottom.
Okay, gotcha.
Because what happens with the V8 Ferraris of any era is they hit a bottom,
Sure.
and they start going back up.
Oh, that's all cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ferraris typically about 10 years ish. The 360s win a little longer than that to start bouncing back up.
Okay.
But they're good. They're good values. But the other thing to compare it to is 430s, which is the one that came after it, are about there in the price. It's not much more for a 430.
Yeah.
You
The funny
said-
thing is, I like the 360. I don't like the 430. And I understand the 430 performance-wise is, I think, a better car, correct?
Yes.
But something about the front end of the 430 I just don't like.
I like both.
Yeah.
I like the sound of a 360. I like the performance of a 430. But you can hit me on either day, and I'll say one looks better than the other, or one sounds better than the other.
Yeah.
You know,
That's fair.
Do they go? Did you say they go down for 10 years and then start to come back up?
yeah, roughly. So if you buy,
Hey, hold on, wait.
Yeah.
That car's 25 years old.
That's what I said. The 360 was an anomaly. It should have been going up more than that. Anyways,
So
but
they only dip for 10 years and then they come back up.
typically with a
Pretty typical.
typically with a
Yeah.
Ferrari, what'll happen is say if you buy it for 300,000, okay, it'll bottom out. Say let's just say the 458s, for example. When they were new, you could buy them for about 230, 250. Okay, their bottom when I was seeing them was about 150, 170, and now they're climbing back up where they're about 200 to 225. You know,
So they're still less than they were brand new.
correct, but they're going to be climbing up.
Right.
They will surpass
Okay.
it.
Yeah. You know, kind of like the 348. Everyone did, or the best example, 308. Those
That one took a long time to hit bottom.
that one took a long time.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember when it was high school, you could afford them at $18,000-$20,000
Yeah.
for a car that was, you know, what, 80,000 new, 6,000 new.
Right.
And now for a good, decent shape one, you're looking at 100,000+, 160,000 for some of them.
Yeah. And
You
it
know?
pisses me off when I see people barn find those fucking things and pick them up for $5,000.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
how come I can't be in that position?
Well, my thing that
Kinda
pissed
makes
me
me
off
mad.
was I know I've told the story, was the 280 GTO that I was
Yeah.
trying to convince my old man to buy.
Yeah.
For $89,000 back in high school. It was on a DuPont registry for 4 years, and now it's a $6 million car.
Good Lord.
Oops.
You know,
Oops.
all
right.
that was way past 10 seconds.
Yeah, hit your other one.
Okay, the other one was the
Now you only have 10 seconds.
Yep. Sorry.
so keeping with the race car theme.
Okay.
I found in Modesto, California.
Yes, sir.
Modesto, California, a 1999 Roulant.
Renault.
No, is that how you say that? So there's a T at the end.
Renault.
Is that no?
I didn't read it.
Reliant? No, it's Reliant Spec Racer.
No.
Yeah.
Renault.
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 There we go. I am terrible with words.
Yep.
No, it's a French word. It's not easy.
Okay. It's a spec racer, single seater. This one is, it's not an open wheel. It still has a body to it.
Yeah.
Unlike the other car.
Like a GTP car.
Thank you.
Okay.
They want $9,500 for it.
That's not bad.
And it comes with 2 extra engines and an extra block, an extra body, an extra radiator, 2 new half shafts, gaskets, belts, 2 extra headers, 2 intakes, and quote unquote lots and lots of extra parts. And it's a package deal. You have to take it all.
Does it come with
and
the trailer?
extra wheels
Nice.
and tires.
Selling it.
Yeah.
Does it
Getting
come with an
out.
extra trailer? He knows he's got way too much money into this and is just going to
He's
put
like, I
that much
just
more
want out.
into it.
I just want out.
Yeah.
Please take it all.
Wife told him he had to go.
Yeah.
But for 10 grand, you have
That's awesome.
a spec car
Yeah.
with everything you could need.
That would be
for brakes.
that'd be a fun car.
If you're looking to get into a challenge or a series and you're ready to race, that would be the one to buy.
track day,
Lemon's car.
Yeah.
track day car, time attack car.
I mean, honestly, here's a question: could you get that cheaper?
no, probably not.
If you were, no matter what, it's a good deal. If
You're
it comes,
getting
It
Well,
seems
that-
like a good deal. I mean, I haven't been on. There's a few race car websites that I'll go to every once in a while because I like that shit.
yeah,
And you do see those for about that price here and there. The Formula Ford, like you brought up
Yeah.
before, Formula Continental, you can get them for $8,000, and it's a full aero car. And I think that's about the going price. But it's still, if you're into it, that's a great deal.
yeah.
I mean, if you find it for less, good for you. But I don't know, any kind of race car package where you can buy it with all the extras and ready to go, I think that's pretty
Even
good.
if the second motor, like if the first motor in the car is running and the second one is
Needs rebuild.
rebuildable,
Yeah,
I think you're money ahead.
Yeah,
I think so.
because then you have it ready to go just in case when you build it up,
Yeah.
or send it in or whatever. But yeah, so I guess that was my 10-second one. But
I think those are cool. Yeah, I love the race car websites and finding those kind of things, and it just makes me wish I had a bigger shop and more money
I'll have,
Right.
to,
and more time to go race them, because that's
You did
really
that
what I want to
goddamn
do.
I'll have to get more sponsors on our show.
Yeah, one would be great.
One. One is more than none.
Let's work on one.
Okay.
Okay, so that's cool. That is the segment for Project Cars. Hope you all enjoyed that. I want to talk about our next Project Build Challenge.
Ooh.
Is it down?
Nope,
So,
I didn't write anything
before
down.
we start-
It's right here.
Before,
It's in my head.
before we start, so this will be our fourth challenge.
Yeah.
So the first challenge, let's just go over for our listeners going through. What was our first challenge? Was building a pony car competition challenge car for an Optima series.
Okay. I don't remember them, so yeah, I hope
We
you
had the
do.
Camaro, the Mustang, and the Challenger.
Yeah.
Each one of us had to build.
Yep.
With a budget of
It was
$10,000.
pretty low, yeah. It was like 10.
For an Optima challenge car for our listeners. And these were modern cars of 2015-ish. Okay?
Yes. Yep.
Our second
Sounds right.
build challenge was building an autocross car
Yep.
for $5,000.
It was cheap, right?
Yeah.
5 or 10.
I don't remember.
Oh, maybe it was 10, and anything you saved, you got to roll
That's
into
true.
the number
Yep,
3.
it was 10 grand.
And that's where
I did
Grant
the
cheated.
Subaru. Yeah.
And Grant cheated, right?
I did the
$500
Explorer,
car.
Yeah.
and then Rob did the Camaro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
And then we go on to our final one, which was the Cruiser luxury
Challenge.
So we had 3, not 4.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's what I'm saying. We're starting the fourth. I'm just giving our listeners a heads up what we did.
Right,
and the
right.
third one was
The luxury cruiser.
which was with the Lincoln Continental
Yeah.
that I built
Yep.
and restored. And Jeremy went with the BMW
Audi.
Audi all-road.
Yeah, which was interesting because we had the restored classic versus the modern modded car.
Right. And I was going to also do the Lincoln or the Oldsmobile 88.
Yeah.
So we had very similar ideas, you and I, Grant.
Yeah, but I had the hot tub.
You did. I liked the hot tub idea. That was awesome. All right. So this challenge is, I haven't even kind of thought of a clever name for it yet. Maybe you can come up with something. But the idea of this challenge is to build an entire car from aftermarket parts. Ooh. The entire car.
And we're talking we can't go and buy like a kit from Superform.
Do we start
That
with a frame?
is correct. No.
Oh.
No.
What about...
The entire car. So here's the deal.
man.
Holy shit.
Ground up everything.
I know what I'm building.
I kind of wanted to give everybody, because there's segments, right, of cars that you can build. Jeremy, I want you to build a truck or SUV or Jeep or whatever.
I know what truck I want.
Okay, perfect. I want you, Grant, to build a Ford.
It has to be a Ford.
It has to be a Ford.
Damn it.
That's it.
I had an idea that wasn't a Ford.
I'm going to build a Chevy.
Okay.
Okay? That's the only parameters. So the challenge is it's frame up. You have to buy
You
the
have to
frame.
buy the frame.
You have to buy the
it.
suspension. You have to buy axles, engine,
We have a
drivetrain.
budget.
No.
No budget.
There
Ooh, I
is
like
no budget. Okay?
Okay.
The idea is to try and put it as completely together as you can, all from aftermarket parts, and see how much it costs
Yeah.
to do it. Okay? So if you get to a point that you absolutely cannot find a specific aftermarket part, that's when you can go buy a used one.
Okay.
All right?
Hang on. So two things,
Yep.
because my mind's going everywhere.
I figured it would.
So
I was guaranteeing it.
first off, this is should be called the Erector Set Challenge or the Lego Build.
I like
Challenge.
the erection set challenge.
Let's do erection set.
Okay.
Okay, it's the erection challenge.
Erectors.
Oh, I got a boner right now.
You guys, I'm the young one. I still play with the Erector sets. How do you guys? Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Second thing, need a goal. There has to be something that we're building it toward.
Okay, so
Like, because
that was a thought as well, and I didn't want to point you in any one direction. You can build a race car if you want. Jeremy, you can build a race truck or just a truck or just whatever. Sky's the limit.
I'm going to build it to be able to tow a race car with.
All right.
well, you say the other thing is you said Ford.
Yes.
So what's that entail? Does it need to
So-
look like a Ford? Does it need to be powered by Ford? Does it need to be a boat?
It needs to replicate a Ford product. Okay. And this is a car we're building. We're not building boats. Okay.
Could be both.
No, it cannot.
You could tow a boat.
No, Ford built planes.
Play by the rules. You drive me insane. Okay.
It's a Ford.
It is a on-road type vehicle. Four
Okay.
wheels, does not float.
or fly.
Just, yes. Okay, so it needs to replicate an original Ford of some kind. I don't care if it's a Mustang, a Cougar, a truck, a Bronco. I mean, I gave Jeremy the trucks, so I'd prefer that you stay in the car realm.
Biggest thing I need to know is body wise, because I could buy a frame, I could buy an engine, all that jazz.
Yep.
the body wise,
You
I
can
gotta
buy
figure out where it
bodies.
comes. So like if it's a say
It has to be aftermarket.
drag racing body or
I mean, I would prefer that we're building like a street rod kind of thing.
okay.
You're building something to drive on the road.
Yes.
Let's
go
You can
street-
race it.
Let's go street legal.
You can race it, but you have to be able to drive it to that race.
There you go.
Okay.
Some kind of street legal. Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to pigeonhole that because, like, I like race cars. That's great, but it should replicate maybe a '66 fastback or something, or
65.
Because I'm limited to Ford,
Whatever.
I want to tell our listener just this right off the bat. Okay. If I wasn't limited to Ford, the first thing I would have built,
is something dumb.
no,
Yeah.
I would have gone to the Dodge page. I'm not sure if they still do this. They did this last year and the year before that. When they stopped the Dodge Challenger and Challenger altogether, they still sold every single part, body, engine, whatever, and you could build a full car and parts on their website.
However,
yeah,
this is not Ford stuff.
yeah,
This is aftermarket. Okay.
it is aftermarket.
This is not OEM.
Okay.
I'll be more specific at not OEM.
Okay.
I don't want you going to Ford and buying all the
Okay.
parts.
But what I was saying is for our listener, and what I was saying is if you go there, you could buy, for example, a Challenger body.
Yeah.
Buy a Hellcat
Buy the whole
motor,
thing basically
and then
put it together.
if you have to go to the
OEM.
OEM website to find a part, it has to be something you couldn't find somewhere else.
Okay.
I'll agree with that. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a ground up build. The idea is to build it without the help of a donor car. If you have to go to a donor car, it's because you can't find that part somewhere.
It'd be like a Shelby.
And we'll outline that, okay?
Shelby count
Don't tell me.
You need to start thinking about the computers.
if it has any.
Well, a 65 Mustang might not have it, but
Right.
if you're doing something a little more modern, the computer, the stereo,
Yeah, but-
the
That's his problem.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of OEM or aftermarket stuff that can do all the
Oh, I'm
controls.
so excited about
Yeah.
this.
This is going to be kind of a longer term build. Like, we're all kind of busy in the next few weeks. And we might even miss a show. Just a warning. Don't really know. We'll try to get something out there, but I know that we have conflicting
So-
things going on.
Do we want to do it before I go to Alaska or after?
When is that?
July 12th to the 24th.
That's in 6 weeks.
Let's try to do it before.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to do it in like 4 weeks if we
Okay.
can. Yeah. So that's the challenge. I knew that Grant would have a ton of questions and try to circumvent all the rules and try to really.
Not circumventing.
Yes, you do.
I am
You do.
finding the fine line.
Yeah.
It is
Well,
called
that's what we'll call it.
interpretation of the rule book, sir.
That is true. That is true.
If you didn't interpretate the rules, you wouldn't have rules.
Yeah. If you didn't ask the questions, I wouldn't have to make a rule. It
Yeah.
would just happen. So,
What was that word? Reluctantly?
no.
No, what was the word from the beginning of the episode?
Man, it wasn't even a word, so I can't remember it.
I know I can't either.
Yeah.
Raising
I'm
hope.
trying to
That's all I can say.
Recollect?
Yeah, the
something
word.
like that.
We'll
yeah.
find it. Anyway, everybody, thanks for listening to Untitled Car Project.
Make sure to hit like, follow, subscribe.
Share it with your friends. Shoot us an email at untitledcarproject@gmail.com.
And we have merch for sale now.
We got some merch. Hit us up for that. And other than that, have a great week. Go work on your project car.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.